there's something different about you this week.
What?
No beanie.
Welcome to the Collingwood Rant. I am Sly.
And I am slightly peeved, Spook.
And we're slightly peeved because of the loss to Geelong. Spook, what did you think of our fucking loss? Put a swear counter there.
I put a beep in. It was a terrible game to watch. It was a very deflating, disappointing performance. However, looking at it though, I really liked the way that defence functioned. It's the attack that was killing us, and the fact that that we seemingly wanted to turn it over at every possible opportunity. We denied ourselves that really attacking, running, hard outside game that's worked so well for the last couple of weeks. And what really frustrated me is we look like the Collingwood of old in terms of we were, as soon as the pressure happened, and it happened early in the game, that we reverted to going sideways and moving the ball at glacial speeds.
Well, defensively, I totally agree. I mean, people are sort of slashing their wrists over this game. We held Geelong to 66 points.
No, I'm not.
Yeah, we held Geelong to 66 points.
Yeah.
So, we actually kept them down. To me, there was danger signs in the first few minutes where I remember Murray got a free for being tripped at half back. And then he got a 50 and he tried this little pass inside and he missed the teammates 10 metres away. And there was a lot of stuff like that where just basic handballs, like someone was just trying to handball over the top of a Geelong player. Geelong player would intercept it. Yeah. I actually do wonder whether the last 3 weeks have actually caught up with them a bit and they were a little bit flat and tired. I don't think I can clear this one. Just in terms of I don't know if that spark was there. You didn't see as much run. I mean, credit to Geelong, they ran really hard.
Well, they filled every hole. They denied the run. So you got to give them credit for that. They shut us down. The
big problem with the injuries Collingwood have gotten is, at the start of the year...
Injuries?
Yeah, we'll get to that. At the start of the year, you had Maynard, Langdon, Murray, and Aish, all sort of providing run out of defence. In this game, you had Maynard out, Aish out, Langdon out. So the only guy you really had there was Murray, and he had a shocker. He had an absolute shocker.
And I think they clearly did their homework on how to stop him too.
And that's going to be for him to work out. I mean, he for sure went through that also.
It's early days. Yeah.
Yep. Geelong, when they're up, they're a good side. I don't think they're consistently a good side, but because of that top end they got with Dangerfield, Ablett, Selwood, when they're up, they're a top 4 side. So they were definitely up this game. I thought at the start we were probably going to get blown away. We hauled them back. The problem was just those skill errors, and throughout the game, we kicked 5-15. How many got Tris and Trelaw? I'm not blaming them, but a few times they ran in for trademark goals and they just missed them. Basic missed shots, and then on top of it, this really pissed me off. Is you had 2 injuries. Moore went off really early again.
In about the first 18 seconds.
Yep, again. And then you had Phillips, who was actually being probably one of the better midfielders. He also went off. And this is the 3rd game this year where we've had injuries early. Giants, we lost Broomhead and Moore.
It cripples your rotations.
Richmond, we lost Aish and... I forgot who it was, but Howe and Grundy are all injured. There's probably more. And we've lost Moore Phillips this game. Yeah. And it just curtails the rotations. And this is why I'm really wary of players like Ben Reid and Daniel Walls. Okay, they're guns, but geez, if they break down. And something with Darcy Moore, they need to actually work out a solution to his hamstrings.
What the fuck is wrong with him?
Yep.
So what's he played? About a game and a half this year?
Has he played that many? I think he played the Brisbane game.
It's a poor return. I'm just getting fucking sick of these injuries every fucking year.
And we'll get to this a bit later too, if the way they just keep reoccurring. The other thing too is there's just not enough players contributed. For Trelaw was really good. I thought Chris was brilliant. He just kept running and trying to create. He was one of the defenders I forgot.
Dunn and Scharenberg.
Dunn and Scharenberg were great.
Especially Scharenberg. I think I read somewhere that his efficiency at the end of the game was 82%.
Yeah,
that's incredible. And he's maintaining a very high stat around that as well.
Yep, and Varco was really lively when he could get to the ball. And Stevenson was really good. He just kept running hard, really hard. Phillips was good until he got knocked out. And then it just fell away. I felt a few guys like... Maine. It's a clean blame. thought he was actually solid. He wasn't terrible. Problem with Main, as you commented during the game, how many times did he get the ball and just go for a little handball? And I hate seeing that in players. I've seen this in like a number of Collingwood players over the years who are just afraid of losing their spots. They don't want to take on the game. They don't want to take any risks. So they just go for a safe handball. They're not creators. Like, obviously, there's going to be times where you're just going to do a safe handball because you're going to link up play and shit like that. But when the time comes and you've got to take the game on, then I want to see you take the game on. Main, except for one play in the last quarter where he threaded his way out of the pack, he just kept doing it. He just kept doing these safe little handballs.
They weren't really safe, though. They were more hospital ones half the time because his teammate was pretty much crushed the second later.
And that's the sort of thing where, numbers are going to flatter you because it's, well, what have your handballs and that sort of stuff done? So, I don't know. But other guys, side bottom, thought he was terrible. And as a leader of this team, he can't be terrible. Yes, his worst still has to be solid.
No influence on the game.
Yep. I thought the goalie got numbers, but didn't really influence the game in any way. I'm not picking on those two because a lot of players weren't that great. Grundy has been really mediocre since that second half against Richmond, where he obviously got hurt. And you can see he's really struggling to play with whatever he's got. He's not that influential.
No.
I thought they misused Cox. I thought they should have just planted in the goal square at one stage.
I totally agree on that one.
And he wasn't. So a lot of players just didn't contribute. So I really think, if you can get these guys to just lift their performance by a little bit, then you'll have a lot better result. But in the end, we kicked 5-15. So if we kicked straight, if we kicked, 9-14 or something, we would have won.
Yeah.
But we just missed basic shots, stuffed up going forward, and committed a lot of skill errors that are very reminiscent of Collingwood from the last 4 years.
Mm-hmm.
Any other thoughts about this game? Because I don't think there's really a lot to sort of say about.
No, it's not panic stations. But the thing that really probably sits there and annoys me at the moment is you feel flat simply because just the injury toll it's mounting again, like it's had every other year. And when's the whether it's not like a case of when's your luck going to change? When are you going to get this fucking fixed?
Yeah, okay. 1-2 years is bad luck. This is now 7 years actually with Buckley. It's happening again. We should have the giant from Twin Peaks just saying it is happening again. It is, cut that in, Spook. I don't blame it for the loss, but fuck, the umpiring was deplorable.
Oh, yeah.
I had a real interesting text from Turtle who said, Matt Nichols paid 10 consecutive frees to the Cats and missed 6 to Collingwood.
That sounds about right.
And they were really stupid frees. Like, I remember bloody Dunn got tunnelled way under the ball, was play on, and then he breathed heavy on Radigalia, or whatever his name is, and it was a free kick. And there was a lot of sort of things where they just dropped it, nothing, and then, I don't know, someone ducked and got hit too high and it was a free to them. Umpiring is fucking deplorable. If I was Collingwood, I'd actually be lodging a complaint. Like I said, I'm not blaming it for the loss because I don't want people to go, oh, look, they're blaming the umpiring. Oh. And it really shits me when you look at it where, there was a stage where the crowd was giving fucking the decision Bronx cheers. And Luke Hodge said, who was commentating, he said, Collingwood fans feel they're hard done by, but the free kicks are 11-10 in Collingwood's favour. It doesn't matter where they actually are, at what point they happen.
Commentators feel safe with just the numbers. It doesn't matter where they were played or the reasons they were paid or the ones that were missed. As long as the numbers balance out, everything's okay.
And that's fucking ridiculous. If you got 2 frees, like on the half back, and the other team got 1 free straight in front of the goal, which free kicks have been more influential there? And they got some really influential free kicks, and a lot of the free kicks were just overlooked for us. We had a game which was very reminiscent of the last years, where it was a high tackle count. I think we got 80 plus tackles. I think we got about 2 holding the fucking ball. So we must be really bad at tackling, because this has happened over the years where we tackle and tackle and tackle, and we barely get rewarded. It's like, well, what, are we really bad at tackling that we fucking don't get rewarded for these streets? And it really shits me the commentators actually almost condemn Collingwood supporters, like, oh, look, listen, they're at it again. Bronx cheers. Like, you're saying everyone who's doing the Bronx cheer is just so prejudiced that they think they're getting robbed. It doesn't happen every week. It happens at times because, they feel like they're getting shitted on. And sometimes, they're fucking right. Yeah, exactly. It shits me that these people just do a blanket defence. And then meanwhile, you get like really idiotic comments, like in the first quarter when we got our first goal. Tom Phillips takes the mark on the boundary. Buse comes in, doesn't go for the spoil, just bumps Phillips to the ground. And they give 50 to Phillips, and Taylor's going, Brian Taylor, oh, what's that for? It's just a bit of...
That was soft.
Yeah.
A bit soft, that one.
But it's like, fucking show me where Buse actually went to spoil the ball at all. He actually just cannoned into it to take him down. It's fucking ridiculous. I'm fucking sick of seeing really shit umpiring. I don't actually blame the umpires entirely because they got so many interpretations to fucking apply throughout a game. It's ridiculous. There's not enough of a fucking there's not enough of a furor over the fact that from game to game, decisions can change. So like one game it'll be like, we'll pay a lot of deliberates, and then the very next game, like of that same round, they won't pay as many deliberates because there'll be like a bit of an uproar. It's like, if umpiring was consistent, they should all stay relatively consistent. There shouldn't be one game which has fucking 15 holding the balls played and the next game only has 4. There's no reason that should happen because the fucking same things are occurring in the game. So I just find that really fucking ridiculous. I'm going to fucking swear a lot because that shits me. It's a fucking bugbear of mine. I think they should actually make the umpires full-time. So you try and bring them up to a professional standard where consistency is going to apply. If I was director of umpiring, I would actually go into the archives and say, this is a hold in the ball. Whenever you see that happen, that is a free kick.
Yeah, they do that. I mean, they supposedly send these videos out every year and say, this is it, this is the way it's going to be, and then 2 weeks later, that's completely forgotten.
But that's the thing, is that it gets completely forgotten. I would be saying this has got to stay a through line throughout the year.
Yep.
Anyway, any final thoughts about Collingwood Geelong?
No, I think we covered enough, to be honest.
I mean, yeah, disappointing. I think it'll be really interesting how they rebound, but we'll look at that in the preview for next week. On to Medium Mephitic. Okay, so on the footy show, I don't watch it anymore, but somebody told me. I know a guy who knows a guy, and somebody told him that Darcy Moore could be going to the Swans. Apparently, the Collingwood president was sitting about 2 chairs down, was totally
flabbergasted. Not flabbergasted, he was angry. He said it'll take about 15 first-round picks, and it's hard to leave a club with your legs missing or broken or something. Maybe how did he leave the ground this week? Because that's probably how you leave a club. Limping.
I hate these fucking trade rumours. Like, people keep texting me trade rumours. I heard this guy's going here, or we're getting this guy, and I just say, it's fucking May. Don't talk to me about anything until, like, September. I don't really give a shit. Don't fucking tell me. But something that really pissed me off is the AFL website has a little weekly article called AFL Sliding Doors. And it had a picture of Darcy Moore, and it said, Darcy to go to the Swans. And I looked at it. The first time I ever fucking read this. It is by Damien Barrett, who's the footy show journalist. And it said, if Darcy Moore wants to get to the Swans, or wants to get the Swans really excited about the possibility of him joining them next year, what do you think would complete this?
I don't know.
Then he'll be best to field against the Cats on Sunday. It's like, what sort of fucking comment is that? It's a totally nonsensical fucking causality there.
I would suggest the extent of Damien Barrett's journalistic nose in this particular case is he just happened to be talking to someone at Sydney and said, well, next year, surely you'd be interested in this player, Darcy Moore, this player, this player, this player. Of course, every club or every individual would say, oh, of course we'd be interested. Of course we'll have a look at something. Oh, so that's confirmation then? I'll run with that story.
But the fucking funny thing is, you really think Darcy needed to be best of field to get anyone interested in him? Surely, if he was in the free market, you'd have about 10 clubs going for him.
Well, he was best hamstringer field.
Yeah. And the funny, I kept fucking reading this AFL Sliding Doors, and I'm just reading the fucking things out in here. For Port Adelaide, if you stand for what you tell us you stand for, then you beat the Crows. Or at the very least, be gallant in defeat. What the fuck? Beat the Crows. Well, don't beat them. Who gives a fuck? This one
coming in a horse.
Bulldogs. If Bont plays, then we'd be surprised. But then again, he is tough as he is classy. You're fucking saying nothing! Why are you wasting people's time on the fucking website with this bullshit? Seriously.
I've never even heard of this.
There's
probably a good reason for that, I think.
The only reason I saw it was fucking, because of the picture of Darcy Moore. And again, it's always pronouncements, and there's no causality in them. It's just like, oh yeah, whatever. Whatever. Just fucking clickbait. And I know where I won't be clicking. We covered the hamstrings. Jamie Lott did a hamstring in the VFL. Darcy Moore did one in the AFL. And now we've heard that Jeremy Howe has been sent the scans.
For hamstring awareness.
Yep.
I think we're aware we've got hamstrings. Does he need a scan for that?
What? Seriously. And then Collingwood has said they're going to review their injury management practices. I think probably the solution to Collingwood's injury management practices is if they sent injured players to anywhere but Collingwood's medical staff. This is fucking ridiculous. This has gone on 6-7 years. You need to work out why players are breaking down. In one of the early episodes, we talked about the training oval where they train. It is like a high school football oval if you go on it. I wouldn't train pigs there. It is a terrible fucking surface. I know they'll say, no, it's whatever. That's got nothing to do with it. It's a fucking terrible surface. And ever since we've been there, we've been getting a lot of fucking injuries. I'm really sick of injuries. You're sick of injuries. Everyone is sick of seeing seasons spiral out of control. Because
just when they're starting to look promising.
Yeah, and this one looked really promising. It's not over yet, but,
No.
you know, it's this thing that you're losing free players, possibly, if Howe's also out, who you can least afford to fucking lose. You know, they're three really key components of the fucking Collingwood side. You need to work this out, and it's got to be more than just lip service of, we'll do a review of our injury practices and see if we're getting that fucking wrong, really. If this is the first year this is happening, and they said that, fine. This has been going on for 7 years. Surely this review should have happened back in 2014.
Yeah, I don't know.
Anything that you want to add to that? No.
I just don't want to see one of those tents put up around a player and that guy with the long broom handle coming out. I don't want to see that.
Oh.
So fix it!
Revealed that Derek Hine learned he could only take Jaden Stevenson 5 hours before the draft because of his heart concerns. Apparently his heart concerns only came out 2 to 3 weeks prior to the draft. I'm actually, I understand why you'd be worried about a player that comes in with a possible physical condition. But fuck, he's been really good. Mm-hmm. He's been seriously good. He was one of the guys still running at the end of the match on Sunday. He looks to me like, already from this draft, he looks the best player from this draft. If he plays the whole season, he will definitely come second in
the Norwich Rising
start. Because obviously a Collingwood player can't win it. No Collingwood players ever fucking deserves to win it. Other than Buckley, but he won it for Brisbane. If he was at Collingwood, he would have come third.
Although a few in the media did say last week about just give it to him now. So the endorsement will be another flag against why he can't have it.
But this is the fucking thing too. He kicked 5 goals against Adelaide. How many, what was he on about his third game? How many fucking third gamers do that?
Apart from that guy from Sydney.
Oh, Ronch, yeah. And that guy from Collingwood, Darcy Moore. Remember, he did that too.
Well, that seems like 14 hamstring injuries ago.
Yeah. But, yeah, Stevenson looks fucking awesome.
Yep. And keep playing him. We say it every week.
Yep.
But just keep playing him. I don't care how knackered he is and if he drags himself across the field-based fingertips. The experience is just...
there's a really good chance that'll probably happen at Collingwood.
Yeah.
Right, so that's it for Media Mephitic. Also got a new segment, the issue of the week. I'm just going to fucking throw this out there, and we sort of touched upon it already when we were screaming during the match review. You think umpires can be biased?
You would say on the surface no, but practicality. I think everybody hates Collingwood. For what reason, I have no idea. We've done nothing for, 2 flags in 70 years? Why did you go and hate Hawthorn? They've fucking won everything under the sun. You'd think if they had a bias against that, they'd be biased against a successful club, but that Collingwood hate still seems to exist. And I think that it does influence some of their decisions.
And when I say bias, like...
One-eyed, of course.
I think the problem is when you say bias, people go, oh, well, hang on, you're saying they're premeditated. I'm like, no, they're not premeditated. I think they might be predisposed toward, if a Collingwood player gets a 50-50, it's like, no, I won't pay that. If the opposition gets 50-50, I'll pay that. And I actually really find that I think they definitely can be biased. It's like you look at any fucking walk of life, people sort of say, oh, they shouldn't be biased because they're professionals. Cricket umpires are meant to be fucking professional, and then they found, oh, hang on, the hometown team generally gets favoured, so they brought in neutral umpires. Fucking cops are meant to be professional, but you get corrupt cops. Fucking CEOs are meant to be professional, they embezzle. You even get parents who have favourite children. So why have we been rewarded in the AFL with the only fucking humans who are totally impartial? Like, it's bullshit. There's no fucking hope that, that would happen. And again, I'm not saying it's premeditated. I'm just saying they might be predisposed one way or another. I will throw in this story, and, the AFL can sue me if they like. I did speak to a respected poster years ago. It was a driver, who we had on a couple of weeks ago, who just said to me, he had a friend who worked with an AFL umpire who said, hate Collingwood, if I get him, I'm going to roast them. And that week, this umpire got them, and my friend said he gave us a really shit time. And a little bit later, I said to my friend, oh, who is this umpire? And he gave me the name, and after he gave me the name, I watched this umpire really carefully, and I thought, fuck yeah, we really got a really shit deal from him.
Well, there you go. How much more evidence do you need?
That sort of scuttlebutt that goes around, it's like you get players who've come to Collingwood from other clubs who said, where I came from originally, I've never been pinged for these threes.
Darren Jolly said that several times about all those magical ruck impringements he used to get that he never got at Sydney.
Yeah, so, it's just like, well, really, do you really think they can be not biased? I certainly think, as I said, it's not premeditated, I think, most of the times. Well, probably all the time, hopefully, but, I think umpires can go into a game to say, fuck, I hate this club. And that reminds me of my dream. Like, I had an aspiration when I was younger that I wanted to become an AFL umpire.
Didn't we all?
Yeah. And I was going to be this brilliant fucking umpire. Just fantastic. I'd be winning awards. I'd be doing grand finals. People would go, that's the fucking sort of umpire you want to be. People would be holding me up on a pedestal. And then I'd get Carlton in the grand final and just fucking kill the shit out of them. Just totally fucking... I'd be giving 50s away against them.
I've had that dream as well. So generally, I'm fairly naked.
Yeah. No, it's a Collingwood grand final. Anyway, that's it for our issue of the week. Let's look at the match preview. Who do we play, St Kilda?
Yes.
Oh, one of the Victorian Giants. What do you feel about our chances against St Kilda now that we have 19 players out?
Geez, it's a danger game. Are they all danger games? But I reckon St Kilda will set themselves for this. I mean,
who doesn't?
The thing that I was thinking about driving over here tonight was that St Kilda have fucking missed the goals all season this year. Their kicking for goal last year was shocking. They've actually taken it to a new level this year, and they're just fucking missing everything left, right, and centre. They will kick 54 straight on when do we play? Saturday night. You can bet for their one fucking game for the year, they just will not miss in front of goals. That's paranoia talking, but you just expect that's where that's going to happen. I think generally the Saints do well against us. Yeah. Richo obviously has
they do really well against us.
A little bit of inside intel, I suppose, on half the list. So I expect them to be very competitive. I'm curious to see what the ins are going to be. I mean, surely you have to bring in a place like McClarty. I think that's a perfect, actually, just on that, I think it's a good game to debut him in as well, too. So it's probably almost going to be forced, but I'd do it at any rate. Surely Fast comes back in. Maynard must be back from injury. Langers, he's been almost
2 weeks away.
So you're going to be bolstered with some good returns, I hope. So we'll be losing Darcy. Concussion test for Phillips. I think he'd certainly play a week's usually enough, though. Fuck Christ,
depends how bad it was.
Look into the long-term effects of it these days. They take it pretty seriously and probably should, but I'd hope he'd come back in. He's crucial at the moment. Yep. So, look, if those ins manifest that particular way, I'd be still relatively confident.
If Pendlebury's meant to be back.
Well, yeah, there's
the other one.
How did I forget that?
Oh, you wrote him off, I think. Pendlebury's meant to be back, and Fasolo should be back. McClarty, this is probably game.
Well, they'll pump it up for Solo's tyres in the VFL report on the weekend, so you'd think he'd have to be cherry ripe.
Also,
well, Blair was a match winner apparently.
Yeah. One of the guys I want to see is Rupert Wills or Braden Sire.
Sire, I wouldn't mind seeing.
The few games Wills has played for Collingwood, I reckon he shows so much fucking poise. There's times where I've seen other players just blaze away when they get the ball because they get panicked. The few games I've seen with Wills, he actually has that Pendlebury. Hang on, I just won't panic and I'll have a look around and then I'll give the ball off to the right option. His body has let him down so far, but if they can get him right, I'd really love to see him as a permanent fixture in that side. Taylor Adams would probably be checking the team selections this week because I think he'd be a little bit worried. He struggled this year.
Yeah, better second half, but
I don't think it was as bad as everyone said, but I don't think he's being as influential as he should be.
No.
And I'm a big Taylor Adams fan. But you know what I want in this side? I want fucking, if you earn your spot, you're in. If you don't, you get selection pressure from beneath, you get dropped, and the guy beneath you comes up. And then you need to win your spot back. If you do that, then these guys will always be striving. They'll never get complacent. So that's the sort of thing I want to see in his club.
This thing with Adams is I want to see him. Look, I don't mind him playing if he plays on the fucking ball and he's the one at the bottom of the pack feeding it out. He's still his best position.
Yeah.
But like on the weekend, he was more or less doing that sweeper role in defence, and his kicking can be hand in mouth. at the best of times. You keep playing him off that half-back thing. He's going to do damage, whereas, running him on the ball, he'll be better.
The other guy, and it sounds funny because he's one of our leading goal kickers this year. The other guy that should be worried, I think, is Hoskin Elliott. He pops up with a goal here and there, but geez,
it's a cameo.
There's
a couple of grabs he should have just swallowed on the weekend that just would have helped a lot.
Yeah, and there was he's playing like a real sort of, I don't know, 80s or 90s type game where, I'll get like 8 possessions, kick a goal or 2, and that'll be it. He just hasn't done enough. He's not influential enough. And, maybe he's the guy they should actually throw back to be that sweeper in the absence of the guys they would like to be sweeper, like, fucking Langdon, all that sort of.
I still held a lot of hope out for him. He's a talent.
He's definitely a talent.
He's going to be a work in progress for a while, though.
But that's that whole thing of I just want pressure put on these guys so they know I'm not being carried, I need to perform, or I will get dropped. So what is your tip?
I think we'll win in a close one. Maybe 2 goals. Another heart stopper. Nothing better.
I don't think it was that great against Geelong. We're inaccurate. Lots of fumbles, lots of errors, and we still only lost by 21 points. So I'm thinking unless they lose a couple more players this week, which is possible at Collingwood, I think we'll win relatively comfortably, about 24 to 30 points.
I think you can probably honestly guarantee it'll be a fucking ugly game. If we have a lot of bolster returns in defence, it's going to be a very miserly game. So, look, I don't care. Win ugly, just win.
Just fucking win. Yep. So that's the match preview for next week. Which leaves us the question of the week, and this is probably relevant. Can Collingwood maintain the rage?
I think I can maintain the rage if we have another week if we lose this week. Look, I think it's certainly not that early you'd be waving the white flag or anything. You probably have to have a serious look at yourself. They probably thought clearly they would have won this week, and they should come out pretty much representative of the fact that they didn't, and fucking really come out hard on. I think we say that every week, but every game should come out hard. But they should make a statement early in this one if they're fucking serious. Just really come out all guns blazing, like Geelong did against us.
Yeah, I think the pleasing thing so far this season, you take that Hawthorn game out of the equation, and they've been consistently good and competitive, and generally they're trying to get this running game going. And even in games like this one, they're still hitting it in patches. Whereas in previous years, they'll have a really good game, and then they'll have a shit game, which would have been like the Hawthorn game. And it'd just be like you're watching the game, what the fuck's this? What's happening? What are they doing? And all that sort of stuff. That hasn't happened yet. So this gives me hope that they're hitting this standard consistently. And against the lesser teams, like St Kilda, Carlton, Essendon, those sort of teams, we'll always run over the top of them because this game plan will just be, and the personnel will just be too good for them. So at the moment, I'm still relatively enthusiastic. Somebody said to me, back to mediocrity, and I'm thinking, well, no, it's not, because the bottom hasn't dropped out as it has in previous years. They're still playing relatively decent. And I'm really curious now, you're going through that tough 4 weeks, that maybe, you can start getting some energy back into the legs, and, players can become refreshed and all that. Because I really think that fixture of Anzac Day and Richmond, and then flying to Brisbane,
it's taken its toll.
Yeah, and maybe that's also reflected in the soft tissue injuries.
Well, except for Darcy Moore.
Anyway, so that's the question of the week. I'll put this question to you for next week, and it follows the same lines. Right now, if you made a call, will Collingwood make the finals? Will they miss, or will they just be middling and finish like 9th or 10th? So that's the question that we'd like you to answer. Yep. So that's it from us for this week. We'll see you next week following the St Kilda clash of these traditional rivals who've played 3 grand finals for 1-1-1. How many times can you say that?
Once.
Yep. See you next week.
Toodaloo.
Toodaloo.